So as you can imagine, I have a lot to say on this subject. It's important to highlight this kind of filmmaking that gives us a perspective we've been denied historically. It's a reminder of what filmmaking is really for, in a sense.
Yeah, Christ, man, yeah, where's the married chap with a port?
Good point, well made. We must have the finest port wines and a selection of exquisite cheeses.
Yeah, exquisite.
Very exquisite.
For the cheeses, don't you know?
Exquisite cheese is really the only cheese that counts in my book.
Cheese, what?
Speaking of things that aren't where they're supposed to be in good time, I was supposed to meet a compatriot here for our discussion of Poor Things, 2023, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. What a Greek name that is indeed. Anyhow, but I don't see my compatriot anywhere.
Yeah. Member, yeah.
No. Definitely not a member. Not exactly our kind of people, but salt of the earth.
Yeah, salt of the earth. Quite.
Very earthy.
I told you I was invited. Look, I got the little letter with a squiggly signature. Don't you touch me. Get off. Look, any more of that, I'll bloody well have you, mate.
Almost on time, but double the saltiness. Over here. Come, sit, warm yourself by the fire. Would you like some exquisite cheese?
Don't try butter me up with your exquisite sodding cheese. I've had a hell of a time getting in here.
Well, it's quite a classy establishment. Management is very particular about the clientele.
Well, I'm here now. What are we talking about?
Since we're doing a report on Poor Things, a movie that takes place in a whole sort of quasi-Victorian retro-futuristic aesthetic, I thought a gentleman's club was appropriate.
You can gobble down my gentleman's club with a side order of exquisite cheese.
Oh, Andy. Andy, when will you learn? Look at you, shabby, unkempt, beard like an unfortunate infection. You look like you dressed upside down.
There.
Now then, Poor Things. It was a prize-winning novel from 1992 by Alistair Gray, and then in 2023 was turned into a movie, a motion picture, for those in the know, by bold visionary Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah. I know him. His films always tear into the fakery and constraints of class structures, something I can relate to.
Yes, well, that's not important now. Both the film and the book give us a searing insight into the idea that every power structure in the modern world has been constructed to suppress female agency.
Well, I suppose.
Suppose? Everything from organized religion to colonial imperialism is built on a foundation of sexism and misogyny. Any attempt to exert control must begin with denying the very existence of a female sex drive.
Yeah, well, that's one way of looking at it, but it's not all sex, you know. What about the class struggle?
Oh, here we go. All right, comrade, hand out your pamphlets.
I'm serious. Right from the start, the first thing that Bella Baxter is made aware of is class and the expectations it places on her. She isn't just taught how to talk, she's expected to talk properly. She has a weird style, for sure, but her clothes are never less than cripplingly expensive, and the idea of settling down with a proper husband is immediately presented to her. She's basically a new person, popped into the world a few weeks ago, and her own personal Frankenstein is delighted by the idea of his protege Max courting her in the approved manner. If they got their way, it would be marriage and humble wifely activities and nothing else.
Aha, see? Sexual roles of wife and mother.
Class roles of eligible bride meeting a bachelor of the appropriate class status. The mad scientist may be a bit cracked, a bit open to unusual ideas, but he knows damn well that she's going to marry someone of appropriate status. Imagine if she'd fallen for a Cockney barra boy without a shilling to his name. Could you imagine anyone being in favour of marriage then?
Andy. You can't be blamed for being so short-sighted that you cannot see past the end of your own gentleman's club.
What's that got to do with anything?
Andy, old stick, marriage is merely a means of creating a deed granting legal access to a woman and for establishing legal issue from that union. Ipso facto, classism is merely a distillation of sexism, much like this distillation of brandy in my snifter here. Not understanding this, marriage seems like a fine idea to Bella Baxter at first because nobody has bothered to explain what it is, beyond providing a vague notion that it is the interaction that might somehow fulfill the glandular feelings she is experiencing. Now, you might note that neither of her guardians has bothered to explain ethics to her, nor how one of them marrying her would constitute a gross violation thereof.
When you have the resources to care, ethics are all fine and good.
However, once Bella discovers self-pleasure, she decides to explore the ideas of agency and personal fulfillment. Unfortunately, her goals are subverted by one Duncan Wedderburn, devilishly and deliciously portrayed by one Mark Ruffalo, a cad who is simply looking to exploit an innocent for his own gratification. While we, the audience, know Bella is ultimately choosing one form of dishonesty and exploitation over another, she thinks she's making the choice that grants her the most freedom. But the key point is that she is exercising agency.
Oh, yeah, easy to run off with someone who has a lavish lifestyle to offer, though, isn't it? Class opens doors. Want to set sail for Lisbon with a nymph you just met to shack up in an expensive hotel? Not a problem if you're wealthy and have the right credentials. No one really questions Mark Ruffalo when he's behaving appallingly because someone with wealth automatically gets a free pass to do things us underlings could never dream of. Bloody typical, innit?
Speaking of which, I booked passage on an ocean liner. Let's take this discussion to the seas.
Wait, what? How am I supposed to afford that?
You'll work it out. Use your low cunning and salt of the earth charm and whatnot.
Fine, but I'm taking this cheese. I heard it's exquisite.
Bloody ragamuffin swat, no cheese board, not cricket what?
This is the life. The sea, you know? The sea.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, look at it. The sea.
The sea.
The sea.
Ah.
Ah.
Bollocks. I'm stuck in steerage while you're swanning about up here with all the knobs. It's horrible down there. My bed is made of cardboard and lies. The sink is a toilet, and the toilet is a bucket.
Well, that's what you get for not springing for first class.
That's the point, though, isn't it? Exploration and self-discovery are easy when you've got a bit of cash to throw around. Go around the world and nod meaningfully at the locals while you learn things about what it's like out there. The shitty lawyer Bella is traveling with knows it's all bollocks, too. He's at least honest about how meaningless the rules are when you're rich. He just doesn't like the fact that she's picked up on how fun it is to just do what you like. And that's how it goes with rich people. As long as you're acting in a way that fits their view of the world, then everything's good. It's just as soon as you get a bit of individuality and do things for yourself that there's a problem. At first, the rich knobs are charmed by Bella Baxter, but she learns pretty quickly that she doesn't fit in with them. Bella witnesses the poor close up for the first time and has a breakthrough moment of class consciousness. She realizes that, hey, not everyone's having such a wonderful time of it. Now, it's not exactly a genius move to hand some unscrupulous sailors a bunch of money and ask them to distribute it to the poor on her behalf, but the story is all about how her heart is in the right place. She sees the injustice in the way the world treats people, and she refuses to play the same game. It's a class awakening story, isn't it?
But the knowledge of class restrictions is background stuff to her growing awareness of sexual restrictions. Through her relationship with Duncan Wedderburn, Bella discovers the pleasures of sex with a partner skilled enough to make the act enjoyable for her. She also discovers the pleasures of international travel.
Well, travel is pleasurable when you're a member of the bourgeoisie, with a nice cabin and room service and towels.
Yes, yes, comrade. Let's set down your little red book ski and move back to the main point, shall we?
Your main point.
Yes, the point, which is that it is here Bella learns it is possible for a woman to seek pleasure outside of the framework of acceptability that men have assured her is the natural state of things. To wit, sexual pleasure for her own gratification and the pleasures of exploring the world outside the sequestration expected of a Victorian-era woman.
An upper-class Victorian-era woman. Lower-class women could go out and about all they wanted. You keep ignoring the fact that all this exploration was only an exercise of agency because it put her class status at risk.
First-class passengers disembarking in beautiful Paris, please make your way to the foredeck where we have the champagne and chocolates waiting.
Steerage class passengers disembarking in filthy, poverty-stricken Paris, please make your way to the plank. It helps if you don't look down.
Oh, this is bloody typical. Hey, I don't suppose there's anything in the petty cash to get me bumped up a class or two?
I can't quite hear you. What was... Oh, look, there's a... I have to just go over here. I'll save you some champagne.
Plank it is, then.
Baba onions and Baba garlic is very popular at parties.
Oh, you finally show up at last. I thought I was going to have to tell Didier here to reheat the crepes. You know how Didier is about his crepes.
I couldn't give.
Give a crepe? Too easy. Do better.
You wouldn't believe what I've been through. As you know, Paris...
Ah, Paris, city of lights, epitome of delights.
...is a piss-ridden hell pit infested with whores, disease, and diseased whores.
Are we talking about the same place? Paris.
Yeah, Paris. When you're rich, it's all frou-frou fancy times with Didier and his crepes. But for the rest of us, it's all about getting by any way you can.
And this is where Bella Baxter ends up after exercising agency over two other key things traditionally denied to Victorian-era women. Agency over her emotions, namely empathy, and agency over her finances.
Again, you're ignoring class. Empathy and financial independence were only denied to upper-class women. Displays of emotion were seen as low-class. Empathy could be expressed through donations, but only one small enough never to risk class status. She gives away all of their funds.
Yes, yes. And what's the first thing she does in Paris? Why, she uses her sex drive to achieve full independence, of course. She discovers there are institutions where people will pay for sex, thus solving her problem of meeting her needs, both sexual and financial, and in a way that frees her from Wedderburn's domination of both of those spheres of her life. Naturally, independence is something Wedderburn cannot stand, of course, and after he tries to exert emotional dominance over her by first shaming her for her choices, and then by threatening to break up with her, she does the sensible thing and walks away without looking back. And she begins a same-sex romance with one of her colleagues, Toinette, her first relationship on purely equal terms. Oh, and you'll love this, comrade. Bella's new girlfriend is a socialist, and she turns Bella on to socialism.
Ah, but this is all going on in a brothel, right?
Well, yes, it's all very French.
Terrible people.
Good crepes, though.
But yeah, it's all about money. Sex is a commodity. Sex means money, and money means getting by another day in the stinking Parisian underbelly. Bella has achieved independence through sex, yes, but at the same time, she has entered into the capitalistic system to do so and become one of the underclass. She can have her independence now, within the class boundaries that are acceptable for someone working in a brothel, but she's only swapping one freedom for another. By turning sex into transaction, she has become a part of the transactional machine that governs society and keeps everyone in their place. She might think she's found a way to live as she pleases, but she's still a hamster running around on a wheel at the end of the day. And the brothel madam knows it. Youth and beauty have transactional value, and she knows how to work the flesh trade, but she also knows full well that once you run out of youth, that value goes down, and you have to make sure you've put aside enough money to keep yourself alive. She may be part of the lower class herself, but she acts as manager and landlord in the brothel and makes sure that all the girls play their assigned roles in order to maintain her own money supply. Sexual awakening is all very well, but the transactional capitalism of sex is the only thing that makes this possible. Bella wouldn't have been able to have any of these experiences if it weren't for the existence of the brothel and the exploitative system it's a part of. I'm not saying that it's a good thing the brothel is there, but her sexual advancement towards independence comes at the same time as she's become a capitalist drone and a fixed part of the class system. This goes to show that class rules will allow you specific freedom, always just enough to make you believe things could be worse. It's not so bad, but at the same time, those rules are designed to keep you in your place, doing your assigned role in society.
I think I might have had enough of Paris.
Oh, surely this means you've had enough of life, eh?
I don't think Didier is ever going to get here with my next course anyway.
No point worrying about the crepe of things to come.
All right, that one's a bit better. I've been writing all this down.
No need. I've got a crepe recorder.
Shut up.
Talk about the crepes of wrath.
I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Travel might be fun, but it's good to be back in Victorian-era Edinburgh again.
Yeah, how does that work exactly?
Best not question it. We do have to talk about the last section of the movie, though. Bella has traveled the world, but eventually she's come full circle. She's back home again, has reconciled with her figurative father, the good doctor, and is just about to settle down with a nice boy from the beginning of the movie, but now on her own terms, when Duncan Wedderburn turns up again, alongside General Alfie Blessington, who, as it turns out, was married to her before the Dr. Godwin decided to change her mind.
Yes. So it turns out the scientist had grabbed this body for his experiments, but beforehand, she had been jumping in the river to escape her engagement to a domineering arsehole who has, through the intervention of her crazy lawyer ex-boyfriend, shown back up to claim her.
You see? This is where even you must acknowledge that class is an institution downstream from the original sin of misogyny. She discovers the institution of Victorian society explicitly demands the sexual subjugation of women. You see this when Blessington immediately asserts ownership over Bella's reproductive capacity, and he threatens sadistic violence if she does not comply with this wish, and his every other wish for that matter. Unfortunately for him, Bella has learned to liberate herself.
Aha, but consider, it's the social status of Bella in her previous life that matters to the general. He might have sexual interests in her, but that's all secondary. As far as he's concerned, she is property and belongs to him. He wants her to fulfill her social role. He specifically wants to take away her ability to experience sexual pleasure in her life. As far as he's concerned, she is part of the business arrangement represented by marriage. She's as much a part of his household as the walls and floors and furniture, and he wants her back in her place. The social disgrace of having his wife walk out on him is simply too much to bear, and it's pretty clear he would be perfectly willing to kill her rather than let her bring any kind of social stigma down on him. In the end, of course, Bella turns the tables. She's able to deal with the general in a way that is both satisfying and narratively appropriate. And of course, we wouldn't want to spoil all the details, would we?
Of course. Suffice to say, Bella takes control of her social and sexual life. She winds up deciding for herself exactly how she wants to live. It's a tale of sexual discovery that leads to complete female liberation, exactly what the patriarchy fears most.
Social discovery and class struggle.
It's all about the battle of the sexes told via explicit themes.
Yeah, right. Exquisite cheese.
Ah, shut up, Roderick. Look, we both obviously came away from this movie with a lot of thoughts. The fact is, there's so much here. It's like this massive banquet of ideas, and with each viewing, you could come away with something entirely different from it.
It's a really good film, basically. But if we can't agree on what we think is most important, how are we supposed to put together a report?
I guess we could just mash together different parts, build something new out of pieces that we gathered together. What would you even call some kind of mixed up creation of mismatched bits like that?
I don't know. I imagine there's a metaphor in there somewhere.
Probably not. This has been another Cinemania Field Report. This field report was written and produced by Andy Slack and Ethan Ireland. Music by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio.
And incidental sound effects courtesy of Epidemic Sound.
By my onions and by my garlic.